Welcome to To Be Continued. We're your host. I'm Christian.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Riley.
And in today's episode, we're going to be giving our reactions to this offseason, but we're going to tell you which team improved the most, we think sucked the most, and we're also going to give you one hot take that we've gotten from this offseason. So I'll let Riley start this off.
Who I think improved the most?
Just go through all three.
All right. Well, for starters, the offseason has been insane. For starters, the unretirement of Tom Brady. I think that's the biggest thing that's happened the whole offseason. Other than the pretty big trades and signings, Chiefs getting Juju and Miami getting Tyreek Hill, just Matt Ryan going to the Colts, all of those trades, I think they're all pretty surprising, to be honest with you. People that I thought would stick with their teams either their whole career or for a couple more years have moved. And the team that I think improved the most, honestly, might be the Rams. I do think that they might have improved the most because they've more filled out that wide receiver spot more than they already did. And then they have more opportunity throughout the offseason to get trades and or defensive players that they need to fill spots. But I think that they're honestly on a path right back to the Super Bowl with what they've done so far.
So you're thinking that they've improved the most because of what they've started to do and what we think they're doing next.
Yeah.
Because only thing they've really done is brought back a couple of linemen, and they've brought in Robinson.
I could make the argument that the Rams have improved the most because the rest of the conference has just decreased the most.
Could be that too.
In the NFC, who's stopping the Rams? I mean, if you look at it, the Packers have gotten worse. The Buccaneers,
They've brought everybody back, basically.
Basically everybody back, and they got Shaq Mason from the Patriots. But it's really going to come down to the Rams and Bucs again.
Honestly, I do think the team that improved the least and honestly downgraded has to be the Packers because they got rid of two all-star receivers and they're just losing defensive players. They're kind of just either they're stripping their team or they're just not able to keep their team. Either way, I think it's a horrible downgrade for them, and I don't think they have a chance at going into the playoffs.
Did you just say two all-star receivers?
Yes.
You're just calling Scantling a good receiver? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think what's going to be interesting is Green Bay, they have to draft wide receivers in the first round now.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they have to.
But we thought that too. What was it, 2 years ago when they drafted the quarterback and made Aaron Rodgers mad?
But now their whole room is empty. Is Randall Cobb even still under contract?
Randall Cobb is their only receiver.
That's their only receiver.
Oh, and Amari Rodgers.
And they brought Tunyon back.
Tunyon on a 1 year, 3.5.
But they've got to. But the good news is that the wide receiver position in the draft is pretty deep.
Mm-hmm. So, Riley, what's your hot take for this season upcoming?
My hot take is that the Tom Brady should have stayed retired. That's my hot take. I definitely think he should not have come back, and he should have ended on a good note, whether we count him losing in the playoffs a good note or not. But he definitely had a wonderful career, and he's if he keeps going, he definitely might ruin it.
Yeah, he's impacted his legacy by doing this. Like, it's kind of
Brett Favre.
he's in the same sense with Brett Favre already, because he had the big deal about his retirement. I mean, he didn't really make that big of a deal of it, but it was a big deal because it got leaked, and then he went ahead and said, "Yeah, I'm retiring," and then a month later, "Oh, I'm back." It's like,
yeah,
dude, make up your mind.
Yeah.
When he retired, though, it just didn't feel right when he retired. Like, it felt like he still had, like...
See, at least from my point of view, it felt like the league was kind of back into the hands of, like, who's going to be the next All-Star. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is there, but Patrick Mahomes didn't make it to the Super Bowl last year. Tom Brady, for the past 10 years, has been like, oh, he's back in playoffs again. Here he goes. It's been, like, nonstop. Like, we know where Tom Brady's going to be. And whether he makes it to the Super Bowl or not is the only gamble that we have had about his teams. So when he retired, I was like, okay, cool. There's somebody who's going to take his spot and be either the top quarterback or somebody that's just going to come up and kind of show themselves in what they can do. But now he's not retired, and we won't see that.
I mean, we still will, because I think Tom Brady, he should stay retired because his Super Bowl window is slammed shut. They're not going to win again. They're not. And he should have just... If he wanted a chance to win, he should have gone to the 49ers.
All right. So, Caleb, who do you think improved the most and least, and what's your hot take?
Improved the most, I would say this is a tough one because a lot of teams have improved a lot.
Yep.
I think the team that has improved the most is the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, because they basically traded Chandler Jones for Nassib, which is a big plus, a big win.
Easy.
Well, actually, no, they really traded Chandler Jones for Ngakwe or Ngaku, whatever his name is. Then they traded him over to your Colts for Rocky Yassin, who has some potential here.
Rocky Yassin, what we called him.
And they got Devontae Adams. And they already had a good running back. They already had a good tight end if Waller can stay healthy. I would have liked to have seen them do some more with the offensive line, because I don't think their offensive line is very good. And I think the Raiders are in a good spot. I don't think Russell Wilson is as good as everybody thinks he is, and I think people are going to see that, because the way you beat Russell Wilson is with a good pass rush. The Rams have shown that time and time again. The Raiders have the guys to do that.
That whole division has pass rushers.
And honestly, it's surprising that they've made such big moves, because they were definitely late to the offseason game. They definitely didn't make any moves for the first week of the offseason while everybody else was throwing their star players out.
Yeah, the Devontae Adams thing was wild. Kind of came out of nowhere. It was last Wednesday it happened. We were right here.
Exactly.
Last
Thursday.
And, yeah, it happened, and it shocked me. And I'm curious. I really want to see what Devontae Adams looks like without Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to be really good. I think he'll be just fine. I don't think he's going to be like Tyreek. I think Tyreek Hill made a bad decision. I think Devontae's going to be just fine. He's not going to be the best. I don't think you're going to have the conversation of Devontae Adams as the best receiver in the league anymore. Nope. I think he's going to be out of that discussion, but he's going to still be top 5 to 10.
But he wasn't. I mean, if you look at last season, was he really in that discussion?
He was. The only reason he was up there, in my opinion, is because he was a really good receiver, and he was the only option that Rodgers trusted. So he was going to force him the ball every chance he got.
And honestly, that could also be the thing that kept him out of being the top receiver, because he was the only option. So he's obviously getting double covered the entire season.
Cooper Kupp in that Super Bowl showed everybody what he could do.
And Cooper Kupp was like quadruple covered and stuff. They had the whole defense on him. They were holding him, tackling him.
That's because when OBJ went down,
concussing him.
When OBJ went down, it was just Cooper Kupp.
So what team do you think improved? Went worse.
Got worse.
Got worse. Yeah, there's English.
Right now, I don't know how you don't say the Packers. They sunk all that money into Aaron Rodgers, and then let his whole receiving corps go. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I think a close second might be the Chiefs.
Wow.
I think losing Tyreek Hill, I don't think it's going to be the biggest. I think it's going to be a bigger deal to Tyreek Hill than it's going to be to Mahomes, the fact that they're separated now. But he was important. Like, you had those game-breaking talent. Like, they still got Edwards-Helaire and like a couple other dudes, but they're not special like Hill had the potential to be, or Hill was at times.
Yep.
And Kelsey is still there, obviously. And I think that they're really going to miss him. Juju, if he's healthy, that he'll be a nice fit, but he hasn't been healthy for 2 years. You can't expect him to come in and play 16 games or 17 games.
Well, he's also not going to be asked to be the number one option.
But he's also going to be making TikToks with Mahomes' clown of a brother.
See, Jackson.
I think, honestly, I was on the Chiefs bandwagon all season, and I was saying Mahomes is the best in the NFL, and I predicted they were going to be the best team in the AFC. I think I'm off the bandwagon. I think I'm jumping off right now. I'm getting off before they stink in this regular season. And I think there's just something wrong with the Chiefs. There's something that's just not quite right. I don't know what it is. Maybe Andy Reid needs to retire. Maybe he's like lost his voice in the locker room. Maybe it's like the Eagles after he's just been there so long.
The Chiefs' problem was after they won that Super Bowl, they thought the next Super Bowl would be so much easier. And they went into that next Super Bowl versus the Buccaneers instead of adjusting, because when you watch that game, the Buccaneers defense, they were asking to be ran on, and the Chiefs just wanted to say, hey, we can still air it out even though we don't have an offensive line.
Yeah, I think the Bucs kind of did that last year too. They won the Super Bowl. They brought everybody back. Okay, here we go. We're going to win another Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, everything didn't go right for them.
Exactly. So far, the Rams aren't on that track. The Rams are like, we're going to bring in new players.
Yeah, the Rams are still improving, knowing that there's room to improve.
So, Caleb, what's your hot take?
My hot take is that Les Snead is the best general manager in the NFL, and he broke the NFL. The reason all these things are happening is because of the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody saw the Rams go out and make those big splashy moves, forget them picks, That's the PG version. And the Rams won the Super Bowl.
And, yeah, the Raiders threw all their picks away for Devontae Adams.
No, who threw away picks was the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
They must just hate drafting. Because they threw all those picks away.
They threw, what was it?
Away.
5 or 6?
Yeah, and this is a phenomenal receiver draft. You've already got Jalen Waddle. You've already got Devontae Parker. You don't need to put all those chips in for Tyreek Hill. If he was a free agent and you sign him, sure. I'm not going to complain about that. But that is way too much. And I think picks are the most overrated commodity in the NFL. But there's no reason to burn them for something you don't need.
Yeah, they gave up all their potential future for Tyreek Hill, who's only going to be around for a couple more years, like maximum of 5 to 10 years.
And even at that, how much longer is he going to be Tyreek Hill?
How much longer is he going to be the cheetah?
He already was next to worthless in the second half against the Bengals.
I agree.
He got body slammed by Eli Apple.
When it comes to what team improved the most, though, and you say where they started the offseason at and where they're at now, I have a hard time saying any team but the Dolphins. And this is why I'm saying it, though. And I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs or they're going to be world beaters. But what they wanted to set themselves up for was this. After next season, Tua can't have an excuse. Tua has to perform. And what Mike McDaniels, the head coach, is trying to do is, and you can tell he's doing it, he's building the Niners of the AFC. And while Tyreek Hill is great down the field, yes, but where Tyreek Hill makes his money worth is in the short to intermediate pass game. If you really watch the way he plays, his bread and butter is in the short and rack.
Yeah.
And what the Niners system is, or the Shanahan system is, get the ball out of your hands quick and let the playmakers make plays. And Mike McDaniels is, you can tell by the way the roster is being constructed, is he's going to run this team like Shanahan ran the Niners, because when it comes down to the Shanahan tree, they run their offense either one of two ways. You have the McVays and the Floors do a 3-out, or the Shanahans and the McDaniels, which are going to be doing 2-out. And what that basically is McVay and LaFleur, they run 3 wide receivers, and they use the wide receivers in that fullback role. While McDaniels and Shanahan, they have a fullback to do that. And that's where Deebo Samuel gets all his reps, because he doesn't have to worry about blocking and all that. That's why Cooper Kupp's worth all the money. But they're going to have Tyreek Hill get in there, and he's going to be like their Deebo Samuel. And if he gets banged up, guess what? They have Jalen Waddle right there. And I don't think it's going to work that necessarily great, but I do think their run game is going to be great. And what they did, they got running backs, they got offensive linemen. I mean, Teron Armstead, that's a great signing for them. They needed offensive line help. And Tyreek Hill, is he going to miss Pat Mahomes? Absolutely. But he's still going to be a top 20 receiver. I mean, we're not arguing against that, are we?
They've basically added 2 backup running backs from the NFC West.
Raheem Mostert was a backup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, he played, half of a game?
Injured. He's always injured, yes.
Yeah, so he doesn't move the needle at all for me. That Armstead, I mean, he's good. And how old is he, though?
He's 31, but he's
starting to get towards this,
The drop off.
But here's what he was looking at when they signed him. They saw Trent Williams all over. They're like, the closest thing in the league to Trent Williams.
He's not Trent Williams.
He's close.
No.
Watch the film, man. They're almost the same exact player, except Trent Williams is just phenomenal.
I don't understand really what the Dolphins are doing. I mean, I guess go for it if you're going for it, but I don't think they're much better. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. You've added depth to like a position that was already strong.
What?
Receiver.
The receiver.
I do like the Armstead addition. It's a lot of money for him. And I think there were other teams that needed him more.
No.
Get him.
No. Could you even name one starting offensive lineman on the Dolphins last season?
Austin Jackson.
Dude's a scrub. And he's not even starting this season.
He's a first-round pick. Maybe that's why they traded their first-round picks.
They don't trust themselves.
But now let me get to the team that I think went horrible, went south. And I'm shocked you guys didn't bring this team up. It's that team down in Dallas. You know who was the most disappointed in that Tyreek Hill trade yesterday? Jerry Jones. Because he saw that the Chiefs got 5 picks for Tyreek Hill, and all he got was a 5th and a 6th for Amari Cooper. And he had to give up a 6th to get rid of Amari Cooper. And here's another reason I'm saying that's going to hurt him is they lost Lyle Collins. He went to Cincinnati. They lost Randy Gregory, their other good pass rusher. They lost Amari Cooper. And last time we saw Dak Prescott without Amari Cooper, what was it?
It was ugly. It was very ugly.
He was also a rookie.
He was the third-year quarterback.
Well,
No. Yeah, Prescott's rookie year.
You mean like
Amari Cooper was in.
Got him?
They went and got him because Prescott couldn't perform without him.
Yeah, when Prescott was a rookie, I think his first 2 years, Amari Cooper was still on the Raiders.
Yep. And then the games without Amari Cooper in the past, the Dak's always looked horrible, and I'm just like, what are you doing getting rid of Amari? I mean, because remember 2019 when Amari would stop playing in drives, everybody would be like, oh my gosh, Dak looks horrible without Amari. And Cowboys fans will see like, well, why is Amari not on the field?
I don't think that's going to make that much of a difference.
I don't know, because Zeke, dude, Elliott is.
The problem is they've sunk so much money into Zeke.
That's the problem.
That's what's ruined.
Dude, he is. They
don't
have.
pay money on his
he
running
was
back.
he was so good in his first few years, and it was scary as an Eagles fan to play them because I knew that Ezekiel Elliott was just going to run up the field. It was just over. But he doesn't have that explosive speed anymore. He has burnt those legs up fast, and it's surprising.
Well, another thing is, what he had going for him when he was young was he was able to not just have the speed, but he was so powerful. And does he still have some power? Yes. But he doesn't hit those holes with the same aggression that he used to. Like now he goes.
He also doesn't have the same offensive line he used to.
It's true.
Those guys are not as good as they were when he came in the league. The center retired. Look, Lyle Collins, I know he's making a big deal about being a bodyguard for Joe Burrow. Great linemen don't get released.
Nope.
They do not get
No,
released.
because you don't come across a great lineman like that.
We've known he's got some character defects already coming into the league. And he's struggled to stay healthy, and he hasn't been great. He's been competent, but not great when he's been on the field. So I don't think he's the big difference. I do think it's going to hurt them losing Amari. I think he's the only one that's going to hurt them, honestly. I don't think Gregory's that big of a deal. I mean, he's a good player. He's a nice player, but he's not a game breaker, right? I think he got massively overpaid.
Well, because now I feel like who does Dak have to look at other than Zeke, and Zeke's not even the real one
CeeDee
to look
Lamb.
at.
They have CD.
Oh yeah, they have
Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb can't really stay healthy.
They
Well,
brought
CeeDee
Schultz back.
CD Lamb stays healthy. His problem is everybody loves how he makes spectacular catches, but he has that. I'm trying to think of the receiver. I'm trying to think. You guys remember that guy that was always great at the spec catches, but can never make the normal catches?
Johnson from the Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was always great at those one-handers.
He get the one-handers, front flip over people, all that stuff.
But he could never make the routine catch. And that's where CD Lamb struggles with. Last year, Dak would put balls right here, and CD would just be here. But Dak would put balls back here, and CD's coming down like it would nothing. It's dude, get your hands right.
You know what Dallas has going for them, though? They're in the worst division in the NFL.
They are in the worst division.
I'm going to say that's AFC.
But that's a good thing to say because the Eagles have a chance this year.
Yeah.
All right, I got 3 hot takes.
All right.
First one, Cowboys are the 3rd best team in their division.
It's fine.
Well, let's
Giants at bottom.
Make sure we bookmark this and save it, and we will replay it when the Cowboys win the division.
I can almost guarantee they're not winning that division.
Now, let me clarify. They're not going to win a playoff game. I think they stink. But I think Jalen Hurts is worthless, just about, as a quarterback. And I think that, that guy that's in Washington now, not very good either.
I don't think he's that good.
So I think I just want to
look. I'm going to.
I just want to note. Let's make sure we save this because I want to replay this clip.
I'm going to call it. It's going to be Cowboys first, Giants 4th, and then it's going to be a battle for. It's going to be a battle for 2nd and 3rd between the Commanders and the Eagles. But that's only because the Cowboys are so good in the regular season. They put up big numbers. They almost every game that I've saw of the score has been 49 to something. The Cowboys have just blown out the score all the time. If they win, when they lose, they score really low. But when they get to playoffs, they just suck so bad.
When was the last time an NFC's champion has repeated?
Every year the Dallas wins.
2004. There hasn't been a team in the NFC East to win the division in back-to-back years since the Eagles did it with McNabb in 2003 and 2004.
I don't know. I feel like that's not right because I feel like Dallas has won it the last 3 years.
You want to go the last 3 years? Eagles 2019, football team 2020, Cowboys 2021.
Football team did win in 2020. You're right.
That was even though that was by default. My second hot take: Mahomes is going to win MVP. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, how is this even possible? And here's why. Either Mahomes is going to win MVP or we're going to think he's a scrub. And here's why. What Andy Reid wants Mahomes now to do is what he did with trading Tyreek Hill is he realized that they wanted to take the top off the defense almost every single play. And I think what he realized is maybe we got to get back to 90s football. And that's let's get back to the 15-play methodical drives, get Mahomes to hit these checkdowns a little more. And in the red zone, their red zone offense is deadly. I mean, you have Juju Smith-Schuster if he's healthy again. Plus you have Travis Kelce. And then they have the one guy that they drafted last year, the 6'5" guy. Oh, no, he was on our practice squad. They didn't draft him. But he can be good if they develop him right. I think they're going to be a lot more methodical.
They got one more, too.
And
isn't he still on the roster? Isn't Josh Gordon still there?
No, Josh Gordon's not there.
Somebody listed him as he's on the roster.
No, he's a free agent. But my last hot take.
Could be back.
And this one might be a little controversial. I think Drew Lock's going to establish. No, not Drew Lock. I think the Dolphins are going to make one more trade.
That is completely different than what you were going to say.
It was because there was one that I was thinking about.
I also can see the Dolphins making another trade because they have made so many moves this offseason. I can see them doing another one.
So what is it?
I think Baker Mayfield's going to go to Miami.
I do not see that.
I thought you were going to say Jimmy G.
Well, Baker Mayfield wants out of Cleveland. He did say that.
And here's why: if I'm Miami, I make that trade. I'm not saying I've heard anything about this, but I just have a gut feeling that this would be smart for them because the Dolphins have all this speed, right? What's the one? Tua has good accuracy, good intangibles, but he's missing one thing.
It's the arm.
He has the weakest arm in the league, and that's saying something with Jalen Hurts in it. Well, Taylor Heineke has a little bit of a weaker arm as well. But Baker Mayfield has one of the strongest arms. You know who has the longest throw recorded in the NFL in the last 50 years?
I'm going to guess Baker Mayfield since you
Baker Mayfield. He threw an 85-yard pass against the Baltimore Ravens last year, 2 years ago. And last year, I know I was harsh on him, but you were right when you said he was injured, and I should have been less lenient. But I think if you give him the talent he will have in Miami, if he goes, that's, of course, if he goes, I think it can be great.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you.
And here's why. He's never had, because...
I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, he had Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. on the same team.
They didn't fit.
Failed.
They didn't fit him, though. And with a quarterback, the quarterbacks have to be able to fit with their receivers around them. If their timing was off, and every single time he was trying to get timing with Odell would go straight down into injury. And that's what I felt bad for him with. That's why, also for a young receiver, one of the worst things to do is have a diva at wide receiver. Odell's not a diva now, but he was 2 years ago. Let's not lie. He was.
No, he was because he got hit in the head with the goalpost.
That's still the funniest thing I ever did. But anyway, Caleb, you said you had one more hot take?
Yeah.
What is it?
I think whenever the NFL wants to get up on their high horse and talk about, or specifically NFL teams, get up on their high horse and talk about social issues or women in sports and all these things, who cares what they say?
Oh, yeah.
Who cares? Because the Browns went out and traded a whole haul for a guy with 20-plus open civil cases. Maybe he's completely innocent, but in my 30 years on this earth, when there's that much smoke, there is some type of fire. He did something he shouldn't have done. If what he did wasn't illegal or something, it was at least something he shouldn't have done. And the Browns not only gave up that ridiculous haul to get him, they also gave him the record contract, the record guaranteed money for a guy that, in my opinion, like if that stuff is even halfway true, he shouldn't play for at least a year.
Especially with Calvin Ridley getting suspended for an entire season because he bet on NFL games.
You got Calvin Ridley suspended for an entire season for a $1,500 bet, and you got a guy with 20 plus. What's the word? It's not
civil cases.
Not sexual assault, but it's like
harassment.
Harassment, but
yeah, it's harassment.
Anyway, they're cases that are inexcusable acts.
I do have one more.
And they just
you just ignited something that I was talking about.
Went ahead and earlier. Just blew it out of the water. So anytime that they want to act like they care about anything other than the results on the field, spare me.
Browns will finish fourth in their division. And I know that sounds controversial.
Is that because you think he's going to be suspended?
I think he's going to be suspended in that division, and here's why. I don't think he'll be playing until late November or early December.
Even if he does, I feel like
it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
Didn't they sign Tyrod Taylor?
No, they signed Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, they got
Brissett.
Either way, even if he doesn't, I feel like he doesn't have I mean, obviously he played on the Texans and they didn't really have receivers like that either. They had like Will Fuller, that's about it.
Well, they had
but maybe that's why
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot D-Hop was there.
With the Deshaun Watson trade, people say that he was in a dysfunctional organization with the Texans. He's gone from the Texans to the Browns. Everyone's acting like the Browns are this great franchise. Outside of 2020, when have the Browns been good?
Yeah, the Browns literally 3 seasons ago had an 0-16 record.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to say this, but I don't like when these guys they sign these ridiculous record-breaking contracts. Then somebody else gets a higher one. And they're like, "Oh, I need a new deal."
What?
You signed a contract. Honor your contract, play it out, and then get a new deal. Like I don't know. I just don't like.
I think the word contract has been jaded throughout the years.
I like baseball where like you sign the contract, boom, you've got it. It's your contract.
Yep.
You don't like it. Sorry about your luck. You shouldn't have signed it.
Now here's the question though: do you guys think maybe the reason the Browns haven't traded Baker yet is because they're trying to see what happens with Watson? Because if he's suspended for a year,
Well, Baker says he's not going to play for him. So
Yeah, Baker said he wants out or he's not playing.
but the Browns also said they're not willing to trade him if they're not.
they can't force him to play.
They can't force him to play. That's what Le'Veon Bell did.
That's what Watson just did last year.
That's what Watson did. That's what Le'Veon Bell did. They can't if he doesn't want to play, he's not going to play.
Well, the one team he was trying to force himself to got a new quarterback.
I mean, he's either going to stay on in Cleveland and waste a year of his career, or they're going to trade him, or he's just going to suck it up and play.
Now, before we end this video, there is one more thing I got to ask you guys. So it's been a hot topic all week because the Colts made the deal. Do you guys think it was a good deal to get Ryan or a bad deal to get Ryan?
I think it was a good deal.
I think it was a great deal.
I think it's much of the same. It's a temporary Band-Aid fix.
I think.
not a long-term
Listen, it's
deal
gonna.
for
This
the
is
Colts.
this is a hot take. I think Ryan is washed. I think that he's old. I think his career is like on the straight down slope. Like it's not like going down, decreasing. He's going straight down. Now you're looking up the stats and all, but I think that he has he has 1 to 2 years left in him to play and let the Colts find a new quarterback.
I think they would have been better off going to Baker Mayfield. Because then you've got a potential long-term answer.
So, Matt Ryan, you guys want to say he's washed and everything you're saying, right? His average season since losing the Super Bowl, which everybody remembers as the last bad memory he's had, since that, the average Matt Ryan season is 4,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 11 picks, and a 67% completion percentage. And here's why I'm bringing those stats up, because are they going to blow your mind out? No. Are they? But here's what I will say. Last season, he put up good numbers, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But look who he was throwing to. His best receiver was a rookie tight end who had a grand total of 1 touchdown. He was supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread and somehow got into the Pro Bowl, but that's because the fans thought he was good last season. And Calvin Ridley only played 3 games, had a personal issue, then had a bet. And I think Matt Ryan in Indianapolis, I think this is the best offensive line and running back he's played running back of his career behind him.
Oh, I did forget that they have Jonathan Taylor, who's like one of the best receiving backs that we've seen.
One of the most overrated running backs in the NFL.
All they need, though, for Matt Ryan to do is what Carson Wentz could do.
Agree with you.
And they just need the stabilizing force. Because Carson Wentz, even though he had 27 touchdowns and 7 picks, every play with him, I mean, to me, he's the most dramatic quarterback I've ever watched. Because every play, you don't know if he's going to throw a touchdown or a pick.
Do you think Matt Ryan is better than Carson Wentz at this stage in each of their careers?
No.
I kind of don't either.
No.
I think Carson Wentz's ceiling is significantly like if Carson Wentz plays his best game and Matt Ryan plays his best game, give me Carson Wentz.
But with Matt Ryan, they don't need him to be better. They just need to be consistent. Because
Carson Wentz is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Carson Wentz's best game, and I can remember it from this past season, his best game this season wasn't like 4 touchdowns. Like he was throwing up ridiculous numbers, and everybody was like, Carson Wentz is back. And the next game, he threw nothing.
Well, that's also because he got COVID the next game. But here's with Wentz, though, that
And
you
the
have to
coach
struggle
gets
with.
no blame.
That's true.
It's all the player's fault.
But
Always.
True.
With Wentz, though, 1 week he'll be the best quarterback you've seen. Like, you could say he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. The next week you're like, oh, my God, there might be 32 quarterbacks better than this. And he's so inconsistent. And all the Colts want Matt Ryan to come in and be is consistent. They just want a guy that's going to come in and make the plays that he needs to make. Because one thing Wentz has struggled with, you've seen it for years, I've seen it for years. He doesn't like taking a check down. He doesn't know when the play's over. And that's his one flaw. Wentz's biggest flaw is not his leadership, because even though the reports say he's a horrible leader, all the players that he's ever played with always come out and say they love the dude.
Well, yeah, especially that 2018 season, everybody said that they loved him because they would have prayer meetings or whatever in the locker room. Like he's a leader, like that works through God. So like he brought the entire Eagles team to Christianity.
Yep. The worst thing that happened to him was Nick Foles won that Super Bowl.
Do you think that Matt Ryan is better than Jimmy G?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
And here's why. Kyle Shanahan had both Matt Ryan and Jimmy G, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt Ryan went into the what conversation?
To the what?
MVP.
To the worst loss in the Super Bowl of all time conversation.
He also had to play
23.
against Tom Brady. If Matt Ryan was in that Super Bowl versus the Niners win. I mean, against the Chiefs, Niners win that Super Bowl.
I don't think so.
I
think Matt Ryan is Jimmy G.
You don't think Matt Ryan makes that throw?
Matt Ryan is a healthier Jimmy G. That's all he is. Matt Ryan is. He played with a great team for a long time. That Falcons offense was great when he was good.
Prime Julio. And
he got drafted into a perfect spot, and he played well for a long time.
And having the young arm, I think it would.
I think that ship has sailed.
Great match.
Well, here's
I agree with Riley. I think he's done. I think Max Kellerman's Tom Brady cliff is here, and Matt Ryan is like here. So he's like jumped off. He's still up, but he's getting ready to plummet.
I feel like this might be, obviously he's old, but this might be his make or break season to whether he'll be a bust throughout his entire career or whether his career will be notable.
Oh, no. His career, his legacy is already set. Because if he sucks, everybody's just gonna be he's old. He was old.
Well, see, because the last 2 seasons he's played horribly. He has not played Matt Ryan. Like I remember Matt Ryan with Julio Jones and throwing deep bombs to Julio, getting
weapons have also been hurt in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I know that, but like he came up. Weren't they the worst team? Nope, Jaguars.
They were 7-10 last year.
I don't know. I just don't think that he's the Matt Ryan that everybody remembers him to be. I think he's going to.
Quarterbacks.
I'm not arguing he's a great quarterback.
Great quarterbacks will make their offense at least competent, even with bad receivers. Matt Ryan looked terrible.
I'll give you that.
Like, look at Matt Stafford's numbers those years in Detroit. Like, after Megatron, he was throwing to nobodies.
He had Golden Tate.
Golden Tate was
Golden Tate left.
number 3 at best.
Dude, yeah. Golden Tate left. He was literally just there for a slot receiver. Like, he left there, went to wherever. Like, he went to, I remember him in the Eagles. Everybody was so hyped about him going there because he was like.
Well, you
all
got.
I remember was him getting slammed by Janoris.
When he went to Philly, though, you got to at least acknowledge this. When you go to Philly and he got traded midway through the season, do you know how hard it is to learn a 500-play playbook in a week and go play football?
It's fair.
And once he went to New York, he was still getting open. He just didn't have a quarterback that could effectively get in the ball.
What was the dude's name that just signed the contract with the Bucks? Gage?
Yeah, Russell Gage.
He's better than Golden Tate, and he's better than Marvin Jones.
Oh,
those are the only 2 guys Matt Stafford ever
Kenny
had.
Galladay?
Dude, Marvin Jones.
Kenny Galladay.
How's Galladay look without Matt Stafford?
I don't know. He never got the ball.
How's he look?
He never got the ball.
Because he's never open.
He was never
Stafford
open.
just threw him the ball anyway, and he caught it.
Because he's a 50-50 receiver.
Because he's never open.
Oh, my goodness.
Dude, Marvin Jones, honestly, surprising. Marvin Jones, like, I did not expect to be this bad this season. Obviously, he's on the Jaguars. He's supposed to be, they're not supposed to be good. But I remember Marvin Jones.
He's what drove Urban Meyer crazy.
I remember Marvin Jones being, like, a top receiver, like one of the best, honestly, might be the best on, what was he, on the Lions?
Because he's the only receiver on the Lions.
Yeah, and he was just, like, ridiculous. I was like, this dude's crazy, and then he left. And now
that's what a great quarterback does.
Also.
With marginal talent.
Ready? One more thing we need. Well, I know I said this a while ago. You know who Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill need to be thanking for getting this money? Christian Kirk. Because they're like, I'm at least 11 to 10 million better than that scrub. And he's not a scrub, but he's never had 1,000 yards or double-digit touchdowns in a season. He got 17
He's also had
million.
Just like Kyler Murray is his.
Kyler Murray's not a scrub.
They paid him because of what they think he's going to do, not what he's done.
That's also horrible.
And that's not typically a good idea. Sometimes
honestly,
it works out. Sometimes
$10
it does.
million maybe.
I hope.
But
honestly, I hope the best for Trevor Lawrence, just in general, like the quarterback.
Doug Peterson's going to get him good.
I think that he has talent. We saw it in the NCAA. Like I think he's just great. Sorry, shut up. I know.
All right, ready? Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of To Be Continued. Until next time.
To be continued.
Whoa, that guy